So I'm watching the Mae Young Classic last night, episode 2, and by the time the end of the show came, we seen Mercedes Martinez, who was there last year in 2017, and she went one-on-one with Madison Rayne, or Ashley Rayne, here in the Mae Young Classic for 2018. I looked at my phone, I picked up my phone, and they started to roll the end credits, they started to fade to black. Join us next week for episode 3, etc., etc. I'm looking at my phone and I couldn't believe it was barely 9:50 Eastern Time. It's like shit. I realize how much more engulfed I am in this year's show compared to 2017. I think they're doing a fantastic job at presenting the Mae Young Classic this year. I think the field of 32 is a lot better than what we seen last year so far, and more to come for sure. And I'm just having a fun time watching this thing break down. I really am. The best thing about it is the fact that there are talents in this tournament that I've never seen before, and this is why I love the tournament aspect. There's talents that I've never seen before, and I'm seeing them for the first time, and I'm, opening up to seeing what they bring to the table for a possible run in NXT. And I love that. In episode 1, it was more wrestling heavy. You had that great match with Meiko Satomura and Killer Kelly. I think that was, so far, the best thing on the entire tournament. What those two women did in the main event of episode 1 was fantastic. I urge you guys to go back and watch what they did. If you're not familiar with Meiko, who I wasn't familiar with at all either, she really brought it to the table in episode 1. And Killer Kelly, we've seen her in WWE with the NXT UK brand, and I really didn't find anything to be too standoutish with Killer Kelly when we seen her for the UK tournament special. She opened up my eyes even more so in that match with Meiko. And I think, like I said, they had a more wrestling-heavy aspect to episode 1. And I think WWE needed it to be that way because they needed to make a big statement starting the 2018 tournament off. Which kind of bothers me. This is what I look for when I think of, yes, this is a revolution in women's wrestling. This is what I'm talking about. What we see on the main roster and what we see on Raw and SmackDown, it really doesn't have that same vibe. It's more, let's shove this down your throat. It's more politically driven. It's more agenda driven. Here, the women are being given a platform to just go out there and show you what they are made of. They have the freedom to do what they want. There's no handcuffs. Go out there and show us why you deserve to be on an equal playing field to what the men do in this ring. And I love it. Episode 2 was great in its own ways. I don't think it was better than episode 1, but that doesn't mean that there wasn't any newsworthy aspects to episode 2. I loved the fact that I got to see more of Deonna Purrazzo. She is bae. I think she's on level with Toni Storm. Another one who is on level with Toni Storm as well is someone that I've never seen or heard of before this. And like I said, this is the reason why I love these types of specials, these types of tournaments. Priscilla Kelly. I've never heard of her before. I've never seen her before. And she is absolutely fantastic. 21 years old. She's gorgeous. And she can really move in the ring, man. That's what started episode 2 off. Deonna Purrazzo signed to NXT. Very, very great signing there for WWE. We seen Deonna Purrazzo in NXT, about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. WWE, I guess, didn't sign her for whatever reason. She went to the Indies. She made a name for herself. She's the Fujiwara armbar specialist, the virtuoso Deonna Purrazzo from New Jersey. And I'm glad WWE signed her because I think she is absolutely fantastic. I didn't see much in Deonna Purrazzo when I first seen her in NXT. She was very plain. She was very vanilla. She went to the Indies, and that charisma, that attitude, that personality started to showcase itself, and it's becoming even more abundant that this was an absolute fantastic signing for WWE. I love everything about Deonna Purrazzo, man. She's got a great look. She's gorgeous. She's from New Jersey, and she can fucking wrestle. Simple as that. We got Priscilla Kelly. Now, with Priscilla Kelly, I understand that a lot of people are making the comparisons to Paige, and it looks like WWE might have found their new anti-diva here in Priscilla Kelly. Priscilla Kelly looks like she's about to do some witchcraft, or she's about to sit down and listen to some black metal or something along those lines, man. Outside of the Paige comparisons, which obviously are very noticeable, down to the look, to the lip ring, to the hair, to the color of her wrestling gear. I understand that. Paige had a huge, integral part in getting the evolution of what we're seeing right now off the ground, especially in NXT. She is very similar to Paige, but I don't think, she wants to follow or live in Paige's shadow because she has glaring similarities to what Paige looked like. Priscilla Kelly has a much different attitude compared to Paige. Remember Paige in NXT, she was very quiet, she was very laid back. We really didn't start to see that personality come out until she hit the main roster, and then we seen her on the E! Network with Total Divas. Priscilla Kelly is fantastic. 21 years old. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I'd love to see more of her. I mentioned on Off the Script this past weekend how WWE might not sign most of the field from the Mae Young Classic because they have more than enough women to work with right now currently in WWE. I am definitely putting Priscilla Kelly on the radar to be signed by NXT. I think she would thrive well in NXT. I think she's got a great look for NXT. I think she could really get over on NXT. And I think WWE down there, with who they got working down there, I honestly think they can take her attitude and her character and mold it and take it to the next level. That's what I see in Priscilla Kelly. So I'm definitely signing her at the end of this thing. Just based on her attitude, the way she looked in the ring, just based on her look itself, I'm signing Priscilla Kelly after the Mae Young Classic. Deonna Purrazzo won this match with the Fujiwara armbar. Kelly got the armbar applied on her and she tapped out. Kelly tried to wear out Deonna Purrazzo with a dragon sleeper or a dragon chokehold here, but Purrazzo got out of that, followed up with a drop kick and a hip toss. Purrazzo got Kelly down for a 2 count, and then she really showed us why she is the Fujiwara armbar specialist, and she applied that hold and tapped out Priscilla Kelly to advance to the next round. I love both women here. We actually seen Deonna Purrazzo on NXT last night as well, as she got into a little altercation with Lacey Evans and Aaliyah backing up Dakota Kai. She's actually going to be on NXT next week in a tag team match, teaming with Dakota Kai against those two same women. So it's great to see her in NXT. I think she's going to do fantastic, and I'm glad WWE scooped her up when they did. Man, I had to cut and edit this next part going forward in the review because I know I fucked her name up. I even watched back an interview that they did on WWE.com with this particular wrestler, and I heard the name and the pronunciation of the name, and I still fucked it up. Let me try this. And I apologize in advance if I botched it or if I fucked it up. Zeuxis? Is that how you pronounce it? Zeuxis? She went one-on-one in the second match of episode 2 with Arielle Monroe. Now, clearly, if I was to line these two women up, and this is where I was wrong, and I'm glad I was wrong. I was completely wrong in my assessment of this match before we seen its conclusion. If you line both of these women up, and you are to choose, based on the question, which one would WWE be more likely to push to the next round? Based on the look, I'm going with Big Swole, Arielle Monroe. And I know most of you probably did as well. Plus, you add the incentive that Cedric Alexander was sitting front row. Arielle Monroe is married to Cedric Alexander. They have a child together. I thought this was signed, sealed, and delivered for Arielle Monroe in the second round. Boy, was I wrong. Zeuxis, I honestly thought was there to fill a spot and get Big Swole into the next round. WWE did something that they don't do often, and they leave it unpredictable. Now, I'm sure Arielle Monroe is going to have a spot in NXT. I mean, she's married to Cedric Alexander. Why the fuck not? I think she's got great potential. She's got a very, very good look. She's got a ton of charisma. I don't see why NXT wouldn't bring her in. And it looked like she was a fan favorite. I mean, she's from Clearwater, Florida. So that makes the second one in as many weeks. We had Lacey Lane, who was also a hometown talent, also from Clearwater, Florida. Now, we got Arielle Monroe, a former U.S. Air Force cadet from Clearwater. Zeuxis, a luchador, clearly, from Mexico City. I had no idea who she was. I didn't know how she wrestled or what she was about. And based on everything, I was going with Big Swole. Zeuxis, with a picture-perfect Spanish fly off the top rope, advances to the next round. I'm sitting here and I still can't believe Zeuxis won. And I'm glad WWE didn't go with the obvious. I think that they pushed Zeuxis to the next round because Arielle Monroe more than likely is going to be brought into NXT anyway. So I think she won out even though she lost in the opening round of the Mae Young Classic. Zeuxis was pretty much on the offensive for much of this match. She was beating up on Arielle Monroe. She dragged her across the ring by her hair. And then she got her in an abdominal stretch, which Monroe got out of with a crucifix pin. Zeuxis almost was beaten there for a 2 count. Zeuxis then got Monroe down for a 2 count with a camel clutch. Monroe got Zeuxis down for a 2.5 on that. And then all of a sudden, Zeuxis said, okay, enough of this fun and games. I'm going to the top rope. I'm going to deliver the Spanish fly. And that was it. 1, 2, 3, done deal. I love that it ended on that Spanish fly. Typically, when a move like that is done, Arielle Monroe's husband does that move. And people kick out of that shit off the top rope. I'm so happy to see a fucking Spanish fly done off the top rope legitimately beat someone for a 1, 2, 3. So many times I see a Spanish fly done in that manner, and it could end anybody. That's not an easy move to pull off. It's beautiful to look at when it's done correctly, but when it's done in that manner, more times than not, people are going to kick out. I am glad that that move was done perfectly, and it ended the match. I'm thinking that's her finishing move. Zeuxis beats Arielle Monroe, which I thought, it's not an upset per se, but it is an upset based on WWE standards. And based what they tried to tell you with the narrative of this match. Zeuxis wins and defeats Arielle Monroe, Big Swole, and advances to the second round. Now, the bracket was showed at the end of the match. Io Shirai, more than likely, I don't see why she would lose. I don't know who she's going up against in round 1, but the winner of the Io Shirai match, that is who Zeuxis has next. So, I don't think we see much of Zeuxis past round 2. That's all I'm going to say. Excuse me, man. I've been having, I don't know if it's the weather. I mean, the weather here on the East Coast is fucking miserable, man. Humidity, rain. My throat's been fucked up. And I don't think I've really done much yelling this week. I know it's got to be the weather of some sorts, but I got a scratchy throat. I'm coughing. I think it's just allergies and whatnot, so please bear with me if I cough here and there, if I have to clear my throat here and there. It's just my throat acting up this week. And I think it's just based on the weather. Something that I was looking forward to because I heard a lot about her. I did not know anything about her outside of American Ninja Warrior. I really didn't take a deeper look into who she was or how she is. KACY CATANZARO. She's bae. She's in the Toni Storm, Priscilla Kelly, Deonna Purrazzo category to me. I think she's absolutely fantastic, man. A little firecracker. I absolutely think she is stunning. I think she's beautiful. Rather green in the ring. I'm not gonna lie to you. She's not ready yet. She's not ready yet. But based on the outcome of this match, you know WWE is pushing her to the fucking moon. And she is going to be someone that WWE wants to push as a huge aspect to this women's evolution. There's just something about her that Triple H loves. There's something about her that WWE loves. She beat a much larger Reina Gonzalez. Reina Gonzalez, this is her second year in a row for the Mae Young Classic. I didn't find anything too appealing about her in 2017. I don't find anything too appealing about her in 2018. And my opinion remains the same on Reina Gonzalez. Now, I don't know if Reina Gonzalez is that large of a woman or KACY CATANZARO is a fucking midget. I don't know. But the size difference here was absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Reina Gonzalez looked like fucking Andre the Giant compared to KACY CATANZARO. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because I like my women the size of KACY. But this was a very good showcase for the former star of American Ninja Warrior. Now, very green in the ring, I will admit, but the athleticism and the nimbleness and the flexibility on KACY CATANZARO is absolutely out of this world. Out of this world, man. She did things that we really haven't seen done so far in this Mae Young Classic. There was a spot in this match, two spots in this match actually, that really opened my eyes and be like, she's going to be something good. She did a handstand, and it felt like she was in the air for forever. She did a handstand, I believe, off Reina, off the top rope where she was completely straight up in the air, balancing herself upside down on the top rope. There was another spot in this match where it looked like she was going for like a springboard something. That she was going to legitimately do a typical springboard missile dropkick. Jump on the top rope and dropkick her opponent. She bounced off the top rope in a seated position and delivered a dropkick. I really haven't seen that done often. That was great, and for someone her size, it actually works. Now, this was clearly the David versus Goliath match of the tournament, and like I said, KACY is from New Jersey. That makes the second New Jersey native here in this episode so far in the tournament. She started out in American Ninja Warrior as the first woman to complete the course, and now she's in the ring. Reina Gonzalez is a Texas native, and this is her second go-around in the Mae Young Classic. It was revealed, it's in the notes here, that Reina is the daughter of Desperado Gonzalez. So that is a little bit more to her background here on the Mae Young Classic for 2018. Reina, I also found out, is signed to NXT. I really haven't seen much of her or heard much about her. And I'm honestly surprised that WWE signed her. I really didn't find anything too special about Reina Gonzalez coming out of the first Mae Young Classic. And I guess I should have been a little bit more zoned in. The fact that she's in the Mae Young Classic again. This is WWE giving her another stage for a second year. You know, there's a reason to believe that she was signed to NXT. I really didn't know that. Maybe I'm just very picky with who I like and who I don't like when it comes to these types of things. But she's clearly signed based on her size. She's a giant of a woman. But this was, like I said, the David versus Goliath match of the tournament. This was a completely uneven fight. Uneven all the way through, man. KACY was fighting back and trying to cut down this large woman through most of this match. And Reina got KACY down for a 2 count early. A spinning power slam. Like I said, very green. A few miscommunications based off these two in the ring. It was very hard to keep KACY down. She had that little firecracker, aspect to her where she was not going to give up. You had to kill this woman for her to stay down. Reina was certainly doing her part to just continuously beat down KACY, through most of this match. KACY ultimately took the match and she won with a roll-up, of all things. And I'm glad it was one of those fluky wins. I'm glad it was a roll-up of sorts, because nothing KACY was going to do to this woman was going to be believable. It's just based off the sheer size of the two standing next to each other. There was nothing in KACY's arsenal, being that this is all relatively new to her. We haven't seen her in the ring before on TV. There was nothing that KACY was going to do that was going to be believable to beat Reina Gonzalez, who is fucking towering over this woman. So I'm glad that WWE went with the fluky victory here in the roll-up. KACY Catanzaro gets a roll-up and defeats Reina Gonzalez and advances to the second round of the Mae Young Classic. We had the main event. Ashley Rain, a.k.a. Madison Rain, versus Mercedes Martinez. Ashley Rain, Madison Rain. Clearly, you guys know her from Impact Wrestling. She's been doing this since 2005. She was just recently on All In a great fatal four-way with Britt Baker, Chelsea Green, who I can't wait to see in NXT. They would be foolish not to sign her, and Tessa Blanchard. Great fatal four-way at All In. Mercedes Martinez, she was in the 2017 version of the Mae Young Classic, and I really didn't find anything to be too standoutish about her either. So when I found out that they brought Reina Gonzalez and Mercedes Martinez back for a second go in the Mae Young Classic, I was feeling immediately like, these are two wasted spots. I didn't like them in the first one, and I'm not really going to care about them in the second one. But Mercedes Martinez, they're building the narrative with Mercedes Martinez as if she made one mistake. She made one mistake. She got tapped out by Shayna Baszler in 2017, and she's here again because she wants to win it. And Renee Young was on commentary last night, and she posed the question to Mercedes Martinez, what are you going to do differently this year that you didn't do last year? And Mercedes clearly said, and simply said, what am I going to do different? I'm going to win it. And based off the fact that she was in the Final Four last year, I'm assuming WWE is going to push her as one of the odds-on favorites to win this thing. Because you're not going to get to the Final Four and then have a lackluster showing here in 2018 immediately in the opening round. The thing with Ashley Rain to me is, I honestly feel like there's nothing that stands out about her. Honestly. She's very good at what she does. It's not that she can't wrestle. I don't know what it is about her, but something about her look irks the shit out of me. I don't know what it is. 2005. If she wanted to be in WWE, I honestly think this should have been done way earlier. We're in 2018 now. And I honestly think it's too little too late for Madison Rain. And I don't mean that in a way where she doesn't deserve an opportunity to compete at a higher level. I just think that, the appeal of Madison Rain, Ashley Rain, is gone. When she was with Velvet Sky and she was in The Beautiful People, that's when she was money. Now that she's kind of on her own and she's kind of trying to reestablish herself as an entity in women's wrestling and just a force to be reckoned with because of her seniority and where she's come from and the amount of women's championships she's been in and who she's been in the ring with. It's going to take more than just seniority. It's going to take more than that for me to believe in her. Maybe what needs to happen is that she does get signed to NXT, and I see her in the ring competing with the likes of a Bianca Belair, or the likes of a Nikki Cross, or the likes of a Dakota Kai. Women like that, or the likes of a Shayna Baszler. But you got a mirror image here in Mercedes Martinez if you want to see how she's going to compete with the likes of Shayna Baszler here. Mercedes Martinez is very rough. She's very tough. She was on the indies for quite some time. WWE told the whole story of, she's been doing this for 15 years. She's been on the indies. She works 2 jobs. Why does she come back and constantly wrestles? Because she loves it. She loves doing it. She loves the aspect of competition. Mercedes Martinez looked much better here than I ever remember her in the entirety of the 2017 tournament. And I don't know if that's because WWE's building the narrative of this is her redemption story. And I didn't know who she was then. Now I kind of have a good idea who she is now. And now I like her a little bit more because of that redemption story. And she honestly looked a little bit more polished in this tournament as well. In this match with Ashley Rain. We got Undisputed Era sitting at ringside for this match. I don't know. I don't really get the inclusions of everybody. I think Samoa Joe was sitting ringside during the Deonna Purrazzo-Priscilla Kelly match. Undisputed Era sitting ringside during this match. Cedric Alexander makes sense sitting ringside for the Arielle Monroe-Zeuxis match, being that he is married to Arielle Monroe. But there's a lot of main roster influence spread out all along these first 2 episodes. Or NXT influence spread out across these 2 episodes. Mercedes Martinez and Ashley Rain, man. This was another mismatch here. Mercedes Martinez, the much larger woman of the 2. She got Ashley Rain in what looked to be a full Nelson powerbomb or something along those lines. I don't remember what exactly it was, but she dropped Ashley Rain on her neck so bad that the referee went over to go check on her immediately. She looked completely zoned out. That looked fucking brutal. And I'm thinking to myself, watching this shit, because I'm living in the moment, I'm like, holy fuck, I hope she's okay after that. And I know she's okay, because this was taped well before All In, and she actually competed at All In at a very high level, so I know for a fact she was okay after that spot. But it looked fucking brutal. Martinez continued beating on Ashley Rain with a vertical suplex, and Rain tried to come out. She pinned Martinez, tried to get a fluky victory for a 2 count. She delivered a spine buster in retaliation, did Martinez, to Rain. And that was pretty much the end of the line here. Rain then tried to, again, fight back with a neck breaker. And she tried to just deliver forearms and knife-edge chops. A nice combination of the 2. It was all for naught, man. Martinez pretty much ended this with a fisherman buster. And she defeated Ashley Rain. She gave it a good shot. She gave it her best effort, but Ashley Rain fell to Mercedes Martinez in the main event of Episode 2 for the Mae Young Classic. I don't know what's going to happen with Ashley Rain, man. I don't know whether she's a free agent or not. I don't know if she's going to sign with Ring of Honor. I know she's kind of just floating around right now. She's not really with Impact. She's wrestled with Impact, but she was at All In. She's on the Mae Young Classic. So I don't think she's really tied to Impact Wrestling right now. But maybe WWE picks her up. Maybe WWE brings her on into NXT. She is a veteran of women's wrestling. And I think just based off that, WWE might bring her in. And based off the fact that I think WWE right now is going to scoop anybody they can up so that they don't go anywhere else. I think for that fact and that fact alone, WWE is going to end up signing her as well. So, based on what we've seen in Episode 2 for the Mae Young Classic, I liked Episode 1 a lot more. I think the wrestling was a little tighter. And I think it was a better presentation of what this tournament really is going to be about. Episode 2 was getting you familiar with Ashley Rain, who you never seen in a WWE ring. KACY Catanzaro, someone who WWE is very high on, getting her feet wet for the first time. Priscilla Kelly, someone who I've never seen before, who's got a possible bright future in WWE. And Deonna Purrazzo, who is going to be a phenom in NXT, showing you what she's made of and how she could definitely be an odds-on favorite one of these years to win this tournament. That's how good she is. So, Episode 1 was the better in-ring aspect, and Episode 2 was more giving you names and women that you guys really need to start paying attention to for the future of WWE and NXT. That is my coverage of the Mae Young Classic for episode 2. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you guys liked any particular aspect of the Mae Young Classic for episode 2, please sound off down in the comments below. The comments are definitely used to push the video to a wider audience. So the more comments that we see, the more interactions that we see down below, the better the video will do. Same thing if you guys want to thumbs up the video, hit that like button. Any like is going to push the video out to a wider audience and get it recognized more by Google and YouTube, man. I greatly appreciate all your support. Mae Young Classic Episode 3, man, I can't wait to see what's going on. Half of the tournament is over. 16 women we've seen so far, with another 16 to go. I haven't seen my bae yet, Toni Storm. Can't wait to see what she brings to the table here in 2018 for the Mae Young Classic. If you guys missed my NXT review, we talked about the Tommaso Ciampa's new theme music. We talked about the attention to detail to the Aleister Black storyline, where Cassius Ohno was interrogated by William Regal. And also a great main event with Bianca Belair and Nikki Cross. Thank you guys so very much. I will see you all later today with more content, and then tomorrow, as always, for our Hell in a Cell predictions show on Off the Script episode 239. Thank you guys so much. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you later, and then tomorrow for episode 239 of Off the Script. Talk to you later.